This video contains spoilers for Steven Universe episode Room for Ruby. Um, is it bad that I say this episode has some major issues with pacing? Um, it's not a bad episode, but I do have problems with it, and I'm kind of amazed that I do. I kind of just watched this episode feeling like it went way too fast. I don't know if it's because I've been spoiling myself lately. Like, I watched Star Wars Rebels, and that's been picking up in pace. I watched Samurai Jack, that's been picking up. That's just another one where they can breathe, they can take things easy. Gravity Falls is my favorite show of all time, and yet I felt like this one was really rushed. And I think that maybe in part because I'm a massive fan of 22-minute episode shows. Even Invader Zim. When I watch Invader Zim, my favorite episode of Invader Zim is Battle of the Planets of Doom Parts 1 and 2. You get, I'm kind of more of a fan of things that take their time to breathe, to do reactions, to have things happen. But at the same time, I also like when things move quickly. Like, if you watch, like, something like Beauty and the Beast, when the Beast is telling her to go to her father, he goes through, like, 5 emotions in, like, a couple seconds when he puts his hand on the glass jar with the rose on it, and it goes quickly and it goes smoothly into one thing and the other. This one has a very jarring moment in it, where Lapis suddenly feels terrible about not adjusting to Earth as well as she should be, and it's well done. It's everything in that, like, there's no issue I have with the scene. It's just that it kind of just jumps to it really jarringly. It doesn't smoothly transition into that. Like, they do build this up that she's having issues, but you get this I'll just get to it when I get to it. I'll go into more detail. So in this episode, we get Navy of all the rubies landing on Earth, the one that said, "What a lovely planet," in her last visit. So this is one of the more calm ones, kind of like when people would depict them. Leggy and Navy were usually the ones that received like more of a friendly look. Even the way they walk out of the Ruby ship in Back to the Moon. Like, I know, like, Navy has her hands clasped behind her back and she's walking out, and very, very much not what you'd expect for this character to go all traitorous, but she never actually shifts her personality when she actually steals the Ruby ship. She never, like, changes personality. She doesn't suddenly jump into, like, an evil maniacal laugh or anything. It's the same voice, same body language, the same character. It's kind of like once again Beauty and the Beast, when Gaston goes from a hero to a villain. He's still the same character. It's just the circumstances have changed. Like, that's how this was handled, and I thought it was handled very well. This episode's pacing, though, that's the issue I have with it. We open up with this really cute Garnet and Steven scene. It's entirely pointless. He goes to the barn later, and you could have just had him at the barn with Lapis and Peridot and kind of established things better, but at the same time, we get this adorable scene, and you don't hear Garnet talk that much, and she's kind of cut out of things, but Garnet didn't need to be in this episode. That's the baseline I can put it at. The end, the beginning, she doesn't need to be there. Like, it kind of depends how they handle this next. That's the problem with this episode, is it's a standalone episode. It's not part of a Steven bomb. It's like if you were to watch the episode Gem Heist by itself. Like, imagine watching that by itself. That episode in the Steven Bomb is one of the best episodes. It's fun. You get all this detail, but if it wasn't, it would feel very off, not very well paced. So I think Room for Ruby, the reason I'm not a fan of it as much as other episodes is because it feels like a Steven Bomb episode that's separated from a Steven Bomb, if that makes any sense. It feels like it should have more episodes after it that continue an arc or story, but for some reason I can't explain, it's by itself. And if the Rubies come back to Earth like they've done multiple times, I will be fine with it. If they end up going to Homeworld and we don't see them again for a while, I'm not gonna react as positively. It feels unfinished. That's the way I can put it. And we're supposed to get Lion 4 right after this, so it feels like it would feel that way for a little while. It feels like a Steven Bomb episode that's just been thrust out on its own, and it's really jarring. It's really... I want to know. I don't know how to put it. It just doesn't work well at the moment. I feel like it will work well in the future, but at the moment it is not working in the slightest. And I think that's just me. It's like some of the episodes in like Summer of Steven, like just those episodes would have just failed on their own. It kind of feels like the way Bismuth is thrust right in the middle of the Jasper arc. And I think they just did that so they could have it be the 100th episode. It feels very much like that. Like, it's a really good episode, it's in the wrong place. That's the best way I can put this. And yeah, that's about what I have to say about the pacing. My only gripe with this episode was the pacing of it. I think it's gonna be well received later, but at the moment it just feels disconnected. It doesn't feel proper. But moving on, we get some... This is a very much a Lapis episode, which I never would have guessed with the title Room for Ruby. We kind of get an exploration of how she feels. She feels embarrassed about the fact that she didn't adjust to Earth as quickly as Navy is appearing to adjust, which is very much a real emotion. Like, sometimes you feel like, for example, I'm in university, and in my first year I was getting C's and D's in all my courses, and you feel like such a failure when other people are like not even trying half as hard as you, and they suddenly get like, they're getting like A's. Like, I remember my roommate would just sleep all the time. He would never study. He started a paper the night before, and he got a higher grade on that paper than I did. We were in the same class. He started it the night before, and he got a higher grade than me. It feels terrible. It's a terrible feeling to get like this, to feel like you're not keeping up, when in reality everyone goes at their own pace. Like, don't ever feel like you're not doing as well as someone else. Sometimes you just take longer, and sometimes you're quicker. For example, my writing. I like writing, and I am nowhere near publishing levels of writing, but I'm constantly trying to improve myself. Over the last few months, I was writing just this like practice page, and I decided I wanted to start writing a book to publish. So, and it's nerve-wracking because I feel like I'm behind. Like, I should have had this done already, but I'm advancing at my own pace. And once you accept that you advance at your own pace, everything's better. Lapis is very much going through this, that someone is doing better at her with not even half the effort, just like a minuscule amount of the effort. It feels, and it's super relatable, and I'm happy this episode exists for that. My problem with Lapis in this episode is the ending, where she just laughs over the fact that a Ruby just escaped into space. Now, if this ends up they go to Homeworld, she's gonna look like a complete dick, and I'm not gonna be able to emphasize with this episode at all. But at the same time, if they end up coming back, we can get closure for that and why she did that. I feel like she should have been laughing, then realized the gravity of the situation, and kind of just went, oh wow, because it was a very unrealistic reaction to everything, just laughing at this misfortune that's occurred. And I want so much to like that moment, but I can't. The ending to this episode, this entire episode, is dependent on what comes next for me. If what comes next continues to disassociate with with everything, I'm going to end up disliking this episode. But if everything comes full circle, I will end up liking this episode. It's the first time I've experienced this, and it's very much the way the Crooniverse said they don't really care where seasons begin or end anymore, or even arcs for that matter, because of the sporadic airing schedule. And I'm gonna be mentioning this when events from this come up. This isn't gonna be the last time I talk about this episode, because it's got both good elements and bad elements, and a bunch of elements that depend on what comes next. That's the way I can put this. And no rain on Homeworld is further proven in this episode. Which makes me wonder what Homeworld is like. There's clearly no weather patterns there. So is Homeworld just like a desolate rock? Because rain is... You don't really, like, when you hear about planets like Mars... Do you ever think there's, like, rainstorms on a planet like Mars? I don't really. Maybe. I don't know much about the planet, but I doubt as bad as Earth. So I'm wondering what kind of planet Homeworld is, and now that we've lost the Ruby ship, we can't go to Homeworld and figure this out, so... I did like the way Peridot reacted in this episode. The way, Peridot treated everything. Like, it's very much the way they've been characterizing Peridot lately, and she was very much in character. Actually, every character was in character in this episode. There wasn't any break from the norm. That's another positive to add to this episode. I just hate how I have mixed thoughts on this episode. It's just so confusing, but we'll see what comes next. It's setup. This is a setup episode. If it gets proper payoff, I will like it. If it doesn't, yeah, it kind of jarred me, kind of like the episode Roadside Attraction in Gravity Falls, where it just kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't expect this kind of episode out of nowhere. And I hope it's setting up the final Steven Bomb they're probably going to do for the season finale. I assume Line 4 straight to video is going to air, and we're going to get the Steven Bomb, or it's part of the Steven Bomb. We're going to get an episode afterwards, kind of like log date 7/15. I forget the exact title. Like, that came afterwards. I feel like it's gonna be... I'm not sure how they're gonna air this. But either way, I'm kind of looking forward to the finale, which is more than I can say for the way it kind of felt after Out of This World ended, because Out of This World was great. It's just that there's something missing from the show recently, and I don't know why. Like, I remember after That Will Be All, there's something missing, and I'm not sure what it is. Like, I felt it in That Will Be All, too. I kind of felt disconnected from the show. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I'll figure that out later. I just can't really think of that for the moment. Now, what this episode really got me excited for is we've now had an episode with Eyeball, and we've had an episode with Navy. Are we going to get an episode for each of the Rubies now? Now, that's something I'd like to see, which kind of, if they're going to do that, kind of hints to the fact that they're not going to go straight to Homeworld, they're going to come back to Earth. I feel like they will, judging by the way Jasper, they kept coming back to Earth. Like, they found out gems were on the planet. Like, they don't seem to care that there's gems on the planet, but at the same time, Eyeball knows his rose quartz and wants to take him back to Homeworld, so they might kind of try to come and abduct Steven, like very much like Peridot did in Catch and Release, which I hope they don't redo that, but that would be kind of funny to see them all show up at the house. Just final consensus is this episode depends on what comes next, honestly. It feels like a Steven Bomb episode. It's been separated from its brethren. And now we're going on hiatus with this really awkward finish, and it's not gonna help people get over, like, the way the season 4 is gone. Season 4 has been very, very low down. How would I word this? It's been very, very, very much trying to reconnect with Beach City. It feels like they got away from like the corrupted gems in the Beach City, so they're trying to return to it. But the fans don't want that, but the creators do. And like, I don't know. I'm probably just overthinking this. I'll probably end up liking Room for Ruby overall, even if what comes next is bad. I've only seen it twice now. It's not like it's the worst. It's not like it's bad in any sense of it. Heck, I actually like this episode quite a bit for what the message is trying to get across with the way Lapis is being characterized. It's just so awkward with its pacing. It is, but hey, I like how Navy did not change her personality when flipping sides. I really like the attention to detail they gave it, so no complaints. I'm just being picky. Well, let me know what you thought of Room for Ruby. Were you happy about it? Did you think it like made up for like bad episodes like Rocknaldo? Do you feel like it's what you wanted to see, or are you kind of like on the fence with me, feeling like there's a bit of an awkwardness to the episode compared to other plot-based episodes that air all the time? Like, do you think it's like a Steven Bomb episode, just disconnected from its counterparts? Yeah, just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.